2025 is an important year for me. It is 40 years since I'm in the Foreign Service, and it is my pleasure to be here serving as Ambassador of Spain to Qatar. Oh yes, Qatar has changed a lot. I was Deputy Director for the Middle East in Madrid at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That was 1995, and I still remember how different everything was. We were at the Sheraton. That was, at that time, it was the only hotel in that part of the city. The Corniche was just right there, but nothing to do whatsoever with what we see today. 2 years and a half ago, I was in Australia, posted and working there, when the foreign minister called me and told me that I was coming over here as ambassador. And I was just astonished to find what Qatar has been doing in the last 15 years. It's certainly one of the most beautiful and luxurious cities that I've ever been. So again, another reason to be quite happy when you're here. It has been fluctuating, but at this moment I would say there's 2,500 people. The community is basically heads and chiefs of Spanish firms, Qatar Airways pilots, Spanish Qatar Airways pilots, and then we have also a lot of sportsmen. This is one of the most surprising things when I came here. This is a very known destination for sportsmen, footballers, tennis players, paddle players. The national coach for the football team is a Spaniard. The handball was a Spaniard. Many personal trainers from the royal family were Spaniards. I was taken aback by the number of paddle courts here in Qatar. I thought that paddle was only famous in Spain and Argentina. And much to my surprise, I could see that so many people play paddle here. But I would say the consulate is doing a very good work. The sense of satisfaction of the Spanish members of the community here is very high. I would say that at this moment the relations between two countries are nothing short of excellent. I mean, if you measure the level of bilateral relations by the exchange of high-level delegations, you would be amazed to know that in 2024, only in Qatar, we had the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, we had the Minister of Foreign Affairs. In general, whether you take it from the cultural point of view, from the economic and trade, and certainly from the political point of view, 2024 has been an excellent year. And we certainly have very high expectations that 2025 is going to be at least as good as 2024 has been. One of the great advantages of being Spaniard when you are working in the Islamic world and the Arab world is that we have a shared past. If you look at Spain today, not only in the south, not only in Andalusia, but if you go around Spain, you will see still in a very clear and visible way the footprint of Arab and Muslim civilization in the way we speak, in the way people act, in the language. Many of our words are from Arab descent, in the architecture. So this awareness that at some point we all share a common history is still present. There is a special and visible and seizable bond that there is with Spain. The fact that actually we were the first in many years to recognize the Palestinian state last year was actually a proof of how much our relations mean something for both, not only for governments on both sides, but also in terms of public opinion, in general feelings, you know. I would say that one of the best things that I appreciate here, but this is on a personal level, is that in 15, 20 minutes, you are almost everywhere. This is something if you live here and you have been living abroad, this is something that you don't appreciate so much. But living here and then the capacity to move around, to be at your appointment in 15, 20 minutes, something that is just invaluable. The good weather, the quality of service everywhere, the sense of hospitality, the immaculate state of roads, of ports, of shops, of the roads, the pavement. I can tell you, and I have been around the block, as I was telling you at the very beginning, after 40 years, this is one of the safest, another important point, safety. This is one of the safest, cleanest, and more immaculate cities that I have ever been. I have to say that the World Cup that we witnessed in Doha was one of the best organized that I've ever seen. To the point that actually the next ones, Mexico, the US, and Canada, are taking lessons from Qatar. And we will take them from them when we will organize the next one with Portugal and Morocco in 2030. It was extremely well organized. Everything was from the safety point of view, from the organizational point of view. I used to leave the car, the official car, with my wife, and just to find out how regular people would move around. And we used to go to the metro station and go with the, with the flood and all that. Everything was actually flawless. But if you go to whether Formula One or to tennis or paddle tournaments that are organized here, I think that is just great. And this is one of the most attractive elements that Qatar, to become a sports hub. This is something that actually Qatar is doing pretty well. There's a lot of competition in the area, and I think that they're doing a great job. I have a particular affection and admiration for your Emir, for Sheikh Tamim. You realize that Sheikh Tamim is not only extremely respected, but loved. This is something that you realize that he actually is very much into the footprint of his dad. And Sheikh Tamim has actually managed to bring everybody together. This is something that we saw. I was not here yet, but I could follow during the isolation period, during the blockade. Sheikh Tamim was able to make a wonderful job. He brought everyone together. There was a sense of unity. There was a sense of purpose that brought the whole country together, population included. And I think that his figure has grown even taller since that moment. So in that sense, I think that the head of the state represents very well the unity and the consistency of the Qatari people. Many people in the West think that just because we are in the Gulf or we are in the Arab world, that there is not the very cultural life here. The fact that we have a fantastic Qatar Philharmonic Orchestra with a very intense and great musicians, many of them Spaniards, by the way, that offers a very wide variation of opportunities to have a very nice and rich cultural life. Qatar, with Professor Al-Sulaiti, offers so many things to do. And academia is also very intense. You have think tanks, you have universities that actually gives you the chance to intensify your interest in so many issues and domains. And if you like the desert, of course, you can do as I have done every time that I have some visitors. You take them to the desert, you take a good car and do the dunes or stay there for a nice dinner. The problem of Qatar is leaving, because you get really very attached. And I know that the time will come, but I know now that I will miss it a lot.